Proud to announce Counterculture's teamed up with Cloud Defensive, the best in handheld and weapons-mounted illumination. Go to clouddefensive.com, use promo code CC15, and get 15% off your order. Whether you're on patrol, whether you're on SWAT, whether or not you're a civilian that wants their home defense set up, Cloud Defensive is the way to go. They have weapons-mounted and they have handheld lights. So go to clouddefensive.com, use promo code CC15, 15% off. What's up, everybody? As you guys know, we teamed up with Tasty Gains, Counterculture. The entire network has teamed up with them. They're a big supporter of ours, but we're a big advocate of them. You know, we're here on the road. You can have these creatine gummies. You don't have to pack the creatine powder and everything. You can eat a gummy, go out, fruit snack, and you can. One gummy is 1 gram. You can have up to 5 a day. Look, I mean, another one. You can have them whenever you want, and they're fucking delicious.
Same thing with their pre-workout, the Tasty Gains pre-workout. Simple. It's in a gummy as well. You don't have to chunk down energy drinks and be bloated. Get sick of buying them. One container of pre-workout, one pre-workout gummy. Just as easy.
Yeah, and for guys like us that are always on the road doing something, these are super convenient. I love this company, and this is all we need now. We don't need any more of that powdered bullshit. So go to tastygains.com. Show them some love.
Human conversation,
right?
Not necessarily specific.
That's why we do that with our podcast too. I'm like, sometimes we're just talking.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, it has to be somewhat interesting and like relevant, but there has been times where we kind of just talk.
It's hard because you have to have for most podcasts, at least this one, you have to have a title and a subject for people to be like, oh, you can't just be like 4 people talking. Tune in to find out what they're talking about.
Well, that's why I had to, like, there was one where it was like that. So we called it like Wine Night Chronicles, like 2 bitches just talking and drinking wine. Yeah. Like, because I was like, we didn't really talk about anything specific.
Well, I guess, yeah, but even if the title was, like, your Antihero, you have a title, but it's like really only like 15 minutes.
Yeah, of the show. Live.
Yeah,
I do that on purpose.
For sure.
That has something.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think like even when you do these, you can come up with a title after the fact.
Oh yeah,
you know
all the time.
Yeah, and it can just be.
We've changed what we were talking about, like that. Like it just kind of happened, and we started talking. Like we knew.
Only 8 minutes of the content.
Last night's episode, we had talking about something. And changed it 5 seconds. Literally, we started talking outside before we recorded, and I was like, "This is what we're talking about," and she's like, "Yes." And it was all about like
because I know we talked about it super briefly in New Jersey before you did it, but like I still need to come on or like podcast.
Right. So
right.
Yeah. But you were like, I don't know. But now you've kind of opened that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was before, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've never seen someone more addicted to their phone than Mike.
You know, I'm making reels.
I get it. It's work,
He
babe.
says the same thing. It's work.
That would be fair, Tyler, if he wasn't like this before he became
the
Copville.
last episode is going to go out the window.
Part 2.
Because he was. Can I
talk about you driving on your phone? Like I'm not.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that was okay. I didn't know it was.
Like I was making a reel for my. I have an episode come out.
The
tomorrow.
marriage counseling episode was the last.
Did not work.
I'm just saying. I was like watching him drive like a fucking 5-ton RV on his phone, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, fuck it, Jesus, take the wheel.
You motherfuckers sleeping, leaving me there by myself.
He's talking a lot of shit. Okay.
I'm on my phone a lot.
He's talking a lot of fucking shit right now.
That's the point. Is even for him to say it, it must be a lot.
No. Mike, you and Reagan both said something. I've never felt you talk about validation. I never felt so valid in my life at the live when both of you said that Tyler will be looking at his phone, then look up in the middle. Oh yeah, like has no idea what you guys are talking about.
I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna grow.
Are you growing?
Yeah, I'm gonna grow. I'm probably very bad about it. Okay.
Probably.
Okay. I'm the worst person on earth with their phone. But but the success that has come from being not other people that we talk about
Full
who
circle.
don't give a fuck about their people is that I answer all the messages. I respond to all the messages. Yes. I've built a following where
would we be sitting here if Copville wasn't a thing? No, we wouldn't.
Good.
How much do I really bitch about it? Once every few weeks?
Just enough.
Just to make sure it's there.
Just enough.
Really? Just enough so that you know.
That's not bad.
I don't know that I would call it bitching.
Bring it to your attention.
Sometimes it's just a suggestion.
I think
like, hey.
This follows the last episode. This is the same as the counter. Whereas she has a complete right to complain about the amount of time I'm on the phone.
I really don't complain.
Okay,
I really don't.
What is the word I'm looking for? Use the word.
Suggest that you put it down.
She has the right to suggest, but that was the exact moment where I was doing. It was actually being used for trying to get my reel out for my episode.
Anyways.
So I was. Oh, I like it. Let's keep going.
No, we're done.
Why?
I started that fire. I'm putting it out.
No.
Yeah, you started that fire.
Whatever.
I'm in the same boat. Whatever. I say it all the time. I have to make reels.
I know it's crazy that I'm not on your guys' level. I'm just a peasant, but
that's bad too.
She started doing it, and I'm like,
you sound the worst person in the world.
I am,
but
I'm driving through West Virginia about to kill us.
Right.
You're mad about it.
I'm not mad about anything. I'm not mad.
I'm growing too, Mike. Mad. Let me grow.
Well, that was a bad growth moment that you just displayed. But go ahead.
I'm trying to do the last 3 seconds.
I'm trying to say that
He's so different.
Do it too, and now that I run 6 Instagram pages
it's a pain,
and a
right?
TikTok, I get it. I make all my own videos now, and I literally run 6 pages.
And you do the same thing to me. You'll go, yeah. And I asked you a question.
I just said that.
So
I
my
do
wife's
that.
better about that. She's like, "Shut the fuck up! I'm making a reel. I'm on my phone. Whatever it is." Like she gets right to the point. Whatever it is. Like I'm arguing right now. So you're right. Like that was a moment where I caught myself doing the old stuff right there. You're right. You're both right. You're absolutely right. It is, and I get lost in it, and I don't think about it. And I try to like
it's hard.
move it, and it goes off, and it's like, I mean, you're right. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's got
the guy that pours the alcohol down the sink. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But he had to get mad about it for a few minutes. Also,
he's got his other phone in his pocket.
They will admit it. Or all of us will admit it, but after we already have a crash
tantrum.
out.
I thought I caught it pretty quick.
You did catch it quick.
Okay, good.
You did catch it quick.
We'll still
you have
talk
the
on the
crash
way
out.
home,
That's
right?
fine as long as
we'll be able to talk on the way home.
No,
it's not over.
No, thank you.
Not over.
No,
as long
thank
as
you.
the crash out is handled, and you both learn from it, and nothing detrimentally nasty was said, and now you learn from it.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
I wanted to so bad.
What?
That was good.
Yes.
Nope. Yes.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No.
Nope.
So what?
Don't ever play cards. Don't ever play poker.
No. Oh, fuck no. I'd be like, I have a good hand. I'm like,
What's wrong?
No, you're right. I wanted to keep going because I have a disorder. I wanted to keep, I know I do. Okay. Like, I feel like I didn't make my point well enough, so I wanted to keep going. It's nothing even about what you're saying.
I caught myself
I
too.
was still in my world.
And I caught it before I got the whole burn. Like I only got it just started, and then I caught it.
The fire was growing.
I can't argue it. You're right.
We should start another podcast called Couples Therapy.
Yeah.
I said that in the beginning.
You better stop, dude.
I said that at the beginning.
Listening.
And then the next 3 episodes, it's just me and JoJo and just Mike and Tyler because everybody divorced.
Fight. We're in another room. I heard
that.
So
now it's just us.
Remote room.
And we're talking about our life after divorce.
Go tell her this is what we think. Go tell her. Go tell her right now. What was this one about?
Leaving the job, which is funny.
It's going to turn into a relationship thing.
No.
I'm telling you it will.
No, it's been a huge thing for. So only a kernel of people watch this one because this one is meant for couch talk. There's not really a lot of gotcha moments. There's not really a bunch of clips to be made of this. I mean, I do what I can, but at the end of the day, most podcasts, if they're smart, are centered around when they start. I need things to clip. You just need to say the things that's been on your mind for 38 years. Start saying them in 1-minute segments, and that's how you grow. This one's never been about that. But so therefore, so I'm okay with saying it here. I wouldn't say it on Antihero. Is that I am leaving the job. Active. I busted my ass for 3-4 years working on small businesses, 18-hour days. Because I saw a clip, Joe Rogan said it. He's like, you are never. Hey, what's up, bud? Hi. Hello.
You can just leave it. We're doing a show. If you can just leave what you have there. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. What is it? Oh, just come back in a couple hours. We'll be here. All right, thanks, man. Oh, God. All right, I need a minute to think about that. I hate con people.
Using something so...
He's a man of God.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that
well,
what if I'm
that's
wrong?
what you hope.
Anyway, Joe Rogan said it best. He said, you're never stuck in your career. Don't ever think you're stuck. He's like, but to get out of it is going to require years of double the work. You're either going to have to go get another job on top of your one job to learn this trade craft, or you're going to have to go to school on top of your primary job. But you can do it. It's just going to take double the work for an extended period of time. So I did that. Then I'm able to walk away financially from full-time law enforcement. I'm going to stay, hopefully, on a reserve status, auxiliary status, so I can keep my credentials, keep the street cred. I can still say I'm a cop. But, it's just, at this point, I've waited. We've sat down many times, both not communicating very well and communicating very well about this topic. And it was just, we've hit the point where now the businesses are going to, you can actually measurably see how the businesses are going to suffer because I'm working. At the other point, it was just getting them up here. But it's hit here, and I'm going to have to now go like this to supplement it. And I suffer from, I don't suffer is the wrong word. I'm really bad at that point thinking about I'm driving the ship. It's my ship, and it's my decision overall. And I'm just speaking how I used to think. Like, shut the fuck up. Is that it was like, I need your support. I really do need your support, but
I'm just a deckhand. I don't know if you guys know. Just go sweep the deck, bitch. Like,
well,
you're the captain.
I'm looking here.
Didn't I just say when a guy is vulnerable, don't fucking shit all over him?
I'm not shitting on you. Go ahead.
But at the end of the day, it is my ship. I'm driving it, and you can go fuck off.
Right. But without your deckhands, your ship also falls apart.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So
definitely need deckhands.
Can you?
Or a really good one.
Yeah, you're a great deckhand.
Co-captain, usually.
Okay, you're assistant to the regional manager.
Right.
The
regional manager
captain
is
now.
Nothing without that.
But you're not the what was it? The administrative assistant.
Oh yeah, the admin. You're the administrative assistant. That is only a female.
Okay, so your thoughts on this whole process? It's been going on.
It's awful. It's awful. I know you. I support you, but I also am sitting there like, well, there goes any security that we had. And that's scary. That's scary.
Yes
because,
and no. That job's
yeah,
dime a
there's
dozen.
But it's
that
still,
job's dime a dozen.
It's a dime a dozen, but it was still a job. It still had medical
He
benefits.
could have another
it still
one.
Had,
he could have that same job a month from now. He's leaving on good terms. There's no problem. He doesn't have any discipline.
Yeah.
He didn't fail steroid
but
tests
I know
like
he
me,
doesn't
so.
want to do that.
Right.
So
but
then now it's left with,
I'm sure
if something happens, he has to go back to that. And now we're at square one.
I would
again.
appreciate it more. So I was at a point.
Wait, what?
The job.
Oh.
I was at a point where I was doing it for everyone else other than me. And I see a lot of propaganda out there about guys clocking in, doing 18-hour days so they can come home to their kids and that's great. And it is moving and it's heartfelt. But at the end of the day, that's why guys fucking off themselves in record numbers, because they live for the entire world and they don't live for themselves. So the way I looked at it is, these businesses are going to have a bigger thing other than me. So it's not like I'm opening a store to make money. I'm not doing, I truly believe in counterculture, and I believe in the message it has, and I believe the positive impact that it can have on people. So that helps me justify I'm not just doing it for money. So, but not to do something for yourself because everyone else is going to be like, dude, I like what I have right now. Don't do that. It's really bad. And I thought about it for a long time, but I have to make sure I'm happy. so that way I can go suck for 18 hours a day every day, as long as I know I'm happy doing this. If you're sucking every day for 18 hours a day and the end result is you're not happy, that's a huge problem.
Yes. And too many times, and it's very common that people just do a job to collect a paycheck. And that's fine for some people.
And if you need it,
But if you do the same 25-year, 30-year job, you were never happy, you were never fulfilled, you never got any satisfaction out of it, and it was just served as a paycheck, and that was fine for you, that's great. I was the same way. I went from a paralegal to a nurse to a cop. Like, I didn't get any fulfillment or satisfaction out of those other two jobs. And I took a pay cut going from nurse, obviously, to a cop, but it didn't matter. I wasn't happy doing that. And I didn't feel like the things I was good at was serving nursing well, and it would law enforcement. I also think it comes down to changing the way we look at law enforcement when it comes to pensions, and people think they have to do the full ride, the 25 years or 30 years. No. I've heard people talk about it before, right? Where law enforcement, because there's a lot. I did paralegal for a couple of years. I did nursing for a couple of years. Like, it wasn't my gig.
That. You learned so much.
Correct. And law enforcement doesn't have to be 25 years. Maybe it's 8 years. Maybe it's 13 years.
Treat it like the military.
Okay. Yes. Or treat just like any other job where you would leave if you weren't feeling fulfilled, or if there was some other direction you wanted to go in life, because you evolve as you age and things that are important to you change. And if the job has to change because things that are important to you change, it's okay. But somehow no, you can't leave. You have to be here. We have to reframe the way we look at the job and our obligation or responsibility to the job.
And I was told at a very young part of my career, be ready to always go back to midnight shift on patrol. Yeah. If you can base your whole career with the expectation that tomorrow, for no reason, I could be laterally transferred to midnights with a bunch of kids on patrol, if you can have that in the back of your brain and then go forward, you're good. It's the guys that are terrified. I want to ask my buddies all the time that are in narcotics or in all these badass units, and I want to be like, what would you do right now if you said the wrong thing and admin moved you to midnights? Would you stay? They can't even fathom it. They're like,
what does it mean when you choose midnights? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What mental illness is that?
I don't think it's
I choose midnight.
I don't think it's a mental illness.
I don't know. Maybe you were just super used to it. It was really hard for you to switch.
I liked it, but I wouldn't go back now.
I look at this after 23 years as it was like the military to me. I grew close to the guys, the shift. Like, I had guy like Christian Matheson is like my best friend. Like, we worked together for years. And just like the military, when your buddy transfers to another unit or he gets moved, or I didn't realize throughout the years that I was addicted to working with people I really cared about and that I wanted to combat the job with. And as my career stretched on, and it took some bullshit with the administration and some nonsense, but I finally realized that this whole time I was addicted to that group of guys and doing the job together. And the point where I was removed from that completely and now I'm stuck at a desk, that's when I started to go, I really didn't do this because I wanted to be a cop. I did it because I liked
camaraderie.
I liked protecting people, taking people to jail, finding warrants, finding dope. But once you separated those 2 or 3 real good guys that I loved, that I would die for, it became just another job. And that was the last couple years of my career where I'm stuck in an office watching a TV, crime center. I'm like, I don't care about the overtime anymore. I don't want to do this job anymore, because that was the job I liked, was that group of guys. That's just my take on it.
Well, and I was sat down in one of the many pointless meetings I've been having lately where I've realized this job has changed, and I really truly believe that God is like, if you're going to sit here and run this course, I'm just going to continue to show you over and over again with the ridiculousness that it's time to move on. But one of the many pointless dumbass meetings that I had with my lieutenant, and he's not a bad dude, it's just dumb meetings, was he was like, can I ask you a question? He's like, is your podcast successful? And I was like, man, he's old school. Right then and there, a young lieutenant would never ask that. He goes, how much money does it make? Right there, somebody smart would have been like, I need a union rep for this, please. What does this have to do with anything?
Right.
But I go,
what relevance
it makes money. What he was trying to do, he was being real with me. He goes, because it was the dumbass admin task that I was like, these are so minute and stupid. I don't have enough up here bandwidth to remember some of the dumb shit cops got to do now because I've run all these businesses. So when I go and I clean up an entire area with multiple arrests and put that area back on, like, what do you call that? The programs, the trespass programs. And I conquered an entire Dope Boy gas station by myself.
With blanket trespasses?
I did that. And I'm like, so I'm good, right? They're like, no, you didn't spark test your taser every shift for a month. You missed a couple days. And we're here talking about your performance on that administrative task. So I had that old school cop mentality, like, this shit's dumb. But he was like, how much money does your podcast make? And I was like, enough. He goes, because he's like, I think it's an appreciation thing. He goes, I think that you don't appreciate a job because you don't need it as much. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I walked out of that office. I was like, he is absolutely fucking right. He wasn't trying to be an asshole. He was just saying, like, kind of like putting it in the forefront, like, hey, you don't appreciate this job anymore because you have something else about to take it over.
I agree and disagree, because to me that's almost like the cult mentality conversation, though.
Yeah.
Because the job will destroy you if you appreciate it too much. So there's that fine line of, like, over giving yourself to the agency.
But I think he was talking job in general.
Okay.
I think he was
like
just talking
like if you won the lottery,
we
why would you stay on board?
We took our uniforms off, and he was
Okay.
just talking to me like a
different.
55-year-old guy would.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you
that,
don't have the fear of losing something, then, like, you can even, we won't go into relationships, but fear of losing something causes you to invest in it a little more because you don't want to lose it. So if it's kind of like expendable, like, it can come or go. I don't really care. You're going to invest
if you
in
already
it a little less.
if you already got something on the side,
right,
and you're already, and then that person's like, I'm leaving, you're like, oh.
Well, that's kind of funny.
You're checked out.
Like the
Yeah.
job,
Yes.
like I got a job offer for a company that I was like dying when I first left the agency. I was begging this place for a job. Then all this has happened. Now they contacted me the other day at the range, and they're offering. I'm going to listen, but it's like, like if that was 8 months ago, I'd be like, please, oh my God, I wouldn't have gone to that range. I would have stayed home that day. I wouldn't have took that call. I'd have been in a suit. Like, now I'm like, like, yeah, if it works out, I'll take it. Like, if it's going to make me some money and it makes sense. But I'm not like I need it. But 8 months ago, if they would have hit me up immediately, I'd probably be working there already. And none of this may have happened because of situations. But when you start to clear your mind, or financially or mentally, you're prepared to, like, I don't need that anymore. I don't need the stress of that. I don't need the 9 to 5. I don't need whatever it comes. You get that comfortable. And I think it's a comfortable feeling almost. Like, I'm sure it's comforting to you to go, I don't have to worry about getting shot at every day after. What's going on, guys? No Can Smelling Salts and Counterculture have teamed up. This stuff is a pick-me-up. When it's late at night and there's not an Ultima in sight, you hit this. You're piled up the C4s on your passenger side. The roller dogs are burning over there. You don't need that. You need the No Can Smelling Salts. When you're getting ready to go to the gym after a long night shift, you hit this in the morning and you feel better. Guaranteed results. Use code CC10 for 10% off for Counterculture. This is what you need. No Can Smelling Salts.
I don't know what's scarier. The
unknown of this,
not the arguments, the stress that a married couple can have about finances, which you could be rich. Mm-hmm. You're going to have stressful conversations about money. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's scarier, not having the ability to say, this is my paycheck every 2 weeks. What the fuck you want from me? I can say that right now. And it's valid. Now, dumb spending, of course, but at the end of the day, I can fall back on, I work for the fucking government. What do you want? Mm-hmm. Not saying, this isn't at her. I'm just saying, like, what I feel inside.
Right.
When I don't do that anymore, I lose that.
Yeah.
Now it's,
what are you doing?
She very easily could be like, oh, Mr. Entrepreneur, now we can't feed our fucking kids. That is horrifying to me. That 100 times more than being shot.
Yeah.
I'll go back to whoever it is you think is successful. sacrifice, but also leaps of faith. Nobody has ever accomplished. It doesn't have to even be in a business sense.
Yeah.
Anybody that has accomplished anything, whether it was whether they Nobel Peace Prize, whether it was an award for something, they took a leap of faith somewhere where they trusted a process. Might it fail? Yep. But I hate. But what if I fall? But honey, what if you fly? Right? Like, it's super cheesy.
Yeah.
But it's super cheesy. But it's true. It's the comfort of the routine. It's the comfort of the structure. It's the comfort of the security.
Yeah.
But you don't grow where you're comfortable. Growth doesn't take place in comfort. Growth, and that can be the gym, right? It can be that can be applied anywhere. You're never going to grow if you just stay complacent and comfortable and safe.
And I think that's where counterculture is right now. You and I are like having the conversations, but it's like taking this next step of like really structuring it, and taking it to that next level. Because right now we're comfortable with like what we're doing right here, and they're like, hey, we're going to go to Miami this day, we're going to have this guy come into town. It's very unstructured, but it's working.
Yeah.
But the next
We're
step
fitting it into our routine.
The next step is a real structured company, like the Justin conversation about, hey, membership, like those uncomfortable conversations we have to structure this correctly. And I think you and I are both kind of like, yeah, we know it's real, it's right there, but we're so comfortable in like this laid back atmosphere that it's like, what's the next step? But she's right. It's like the next step is that leap of faith going, this is what we have. It's valuable. It's a business. And unfortunately, like, you know, money's involved in business. And even me, like asking for like with the one Tasty Gains guy, I'm like, hey man, I don't want to ask, like, I don't remember what the money part was. I'm like, here's your ad here. And he's like, oh dude, don't ever feel bad about that. But I do, because I'm a government employee by nature. We don't ask for money. Like, and now I got to go, hey, by the way, how much are you paying me? Like,
I have that. I have that. I have no problem. He's always like, well, what if they say this? I'm like, then they say, who cares? Then they say no, or they say this. And so he's like, I used to tell him, he'd lowball himself like hardcore. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, show confidence in what you're offering. Yeah. But like you said, that you don't have that option. Like, when you're a government employee, you know what you're going to make. He always says, you know what you're going to make. That's what you're going to make. Like, you can't, unless you want to move up, but you still know what you're going to make in that position. Yeah. Like, there's not like I'm going to try extra hard and I'm going to make more than this person.
I didn't stay in the military, because I was like, so you're telling me I can project what I'm going to make for 20 years straight? Although security is satisfying,
you know, you're never going to make
be a millionaire.
So you don't have that type of negotiation skills in that aspect. Like, where I'm telling him, you know, give these people affiliate codes, do this, do that. And I'm, you know, I don't want to get into detail on here about it, because
it's okay.
It's business stuff. But no, that's not the way. So if somebody watches it, that's how they hear about it. I want to talk to these people about it. But he's like, well, what if they like, there's all these what ifs. And I'm like, then they say that. They say, oh no, I have a brand deal with somebody, like, you know, but if that falls through, like, I'll hit you up. I'm like, you're like not afraid. I don't want to say you're afraid to.
It's just the way that the programming and conditioning that the government does to you.
The programming of like, you're going to be rejected.
There's no individuality in government work. Like, there's no free thinking in government work.
My buddy that pushed me to this company was like, he's making like $250,000 working for like Penlink, does all the wire. He's a cop that turned into and I said, well, what do I expect my salary to be? I'm like, he's like, bro, ask for fucking like $150,000 to a company. They make millions of dollars. I'm so used to being like, oh, the pay rate is $20. I'm going to make that. Like, oh, an extra duty job is $60.
I have this much experience. I can put it on paper.
I'm going to work 60 hours for an extra $300. This is awesome. Like, but it's like, value yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, government, for like, and that's where I'm like, now with, like I said, with this job is like, I'm also going to have a hard line on, is $1,000 a week worth my money? Like, is it worth my time to take away from this? It's going to be a hard sell, I think, in this opportunity this opportunity to make me want to do it.
One thing I realize is what we're doing is we've entered, and I say we've entered in the last couple of years. We have entered the entertainment side of money making, and you can take that for whatever, be it podcasts, meme pages, you know, making money and off of the meme page and opening up the shop and selling merchandise, like that whole thing. People that have never worked for the government, it's they have a different mindset. We bring it on. For example, we talk about all the time. We need to for the open mic, we need to be more animated. Like, fucking the open mic was meant on Friday nights to bust balls. Like, you watch on all these, you know, like Barstool Sports, like Dave Portnoy is a monster. It's a character. the way he has people sign when you can't sue for hostile work environment. Reagan looked it up. It's an actual contract for entertainment. We get on an open mic. As soon as we fucking bust one ball, guys shut down because they're fucking up. It's like, dude, fucking relax. Like, and so what my fear of like,
I got to hold back on the fucking personal assistant jokes, dude.
I was just gonna say, I already know you
blows
guys
my
with the
fucking mind, dude. It blows my mind.
What?
Justin's wife's personal fucking assistant or whatever he is.
Oh,
I just feel bad saying it, dude. Yeah, the mentor.
Oh God, stop.
I mean, we make.
But you guys are do it. I've heard you guys do it.
Yeah.
These guys, because it's not them in particular. It's the type of we treat each other with respect and professionalism, and like or like, yo.
If you put us on an open mic and told us to do that, we would never probably walk in the same house again.
Yeah.
If we started making fun of each other on
ruthless.
Yeah, it would be like
if you told me that's what it was about, like,
oh, boy.
say when.
Boy.
I'm,
you don't want
my
that smoke.
slick mouth, loose-lipped, fucking
like,
ruthless.
When it comes to making deals or agreements or negotiations, I've realized that people that were never in the cop side or government side can say no, but and it's not a diss. Like, oh, they're not going to take offense to no, not right now. No, we can't do this. I could go back in 6 months and be like, hey, that offer, does it still stand? Yep, still stands. It's just business. It's just business. I gave you I said no, and I gave you this because this is not possible. This is. Mm-hmm. All right, I don't want that right now. In 6 months, can I come back? A cop is going to be like, yo, oh, yeah, that's right, man. Their mindset is, yeah, that's right, bitch.
Well,
right?
Also think about it in this way. Government work, it doesn't matter how much effort you do or don't put in, you're getting paid the same.
That's what I was saying. You could be busting your ass and you're
this
not going to
is
get any
completely
more.
proportionate to your effort.
Yes.
Which government
Yes.
work, you could be out there locking up 17 bad guys in 7 minutes.
Making the same
Same as the dude that's doing nothing. And so that's hard to come to grips with too.
Also in the business world, in the police world, we're conditioned to be shit on and take it. Yeah. In the business world, if your supplier is constantly late, constantly fucking up the order, you know what you do? You go, motherfucker, I'm done. I'm going that. As a cop, you don't have that option. Yeah, you can go to another agency. Front to back to switch agencies probably takes 6 to 8 months. Yeah. You don't just have that option to quick do it. And then we got guys that get out of law enforcement, which I have a guy who is hot to trot to come talk about how fucked he got by my agency over a medical issue and a workers' comp issue. Quits, he's free and clear, and he still won't do it because he's so conditioned to like, I don't want to say anything, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to cause anything. It's like, bro, you got fucking railroaded by somebody. Why don't you expose it or talk about it? Because it's not fair what happened to you because of the conditioning of a government job for 10 years. I think he was a cop right around it. His brain is like, oh, I really don't want to cause any problems. I don't want to say anything. Just lay low.
God,
I got a reporter in town. There's a reporter in town that won't talk about the sheriff anymore.
It is 1,000.
Like a battered
let
woman
me
that's
say
like,
it.
no, I don't want to cause any problems.
Let me say it without, so it's clear. It is abuse.
Yeah.
It is abuse. Agencies are abusing humans.
Correct.
And there's no oversight, there's no accountability, nobody gives a fuck, and they are outwardly, routinely abusing humans.
And it's just subtle. Oh, you got transferred, or you didn't make that interdiction unit. You want to say this? I got told flat out when I got transferred. The first words out of the dude's mouth that when I walked from one building to the other from law enforcement corrections were, I told you not to go to those debates. So I was penalized right out of the rip for going to a sheriff's debate and supporting the other candidate. Not any job performance, nothing about my job.
Every specialty assignment you've earned in 20 years, all fucking gone, and be sent to the road on midnights with kids, and it's just considered a lateral transfer.
Correct.
And there's
needs of the agency.
What that does to a man of that caliber, it destroys him. He has to rethink his entire fucking 20-year career. And it all came from the pen of a little fat lieutenant that was mad.
Yeah.
And that guy goes, I should have went the route that little fucking lieutenant went. The guy that's never fucking done anything on the streets that went and moved up the chain of command.
That's rewarded.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And that your most of your agencies are made up of those people. You have them sprinkled in, like decent dudes sprinkled in, but those guys get, and I'm not going to say any names, but we have one that absolutely was the guy as a sergeant lieutenant, and then he got sprinkled up into that captain deputy chief role to change his whole tune, and he's now one of them. And I feel like me and Christian Matheson kind of got that same treatment where we didn't back off of that belief. Like the guys come first, the agents, like the guys that work for us, the citizens, we're not changing our beliefs because you people around us are telling us it's smarter to drive 100 miles left to go 2 miles right. No, it's not smarter. It's smarter to just go over there. Yeah. They try to convince you these wild things are more important and when you hold your line. On the same day, Christian Matheson was transferred to the courthouse as a lieutenant who has no job. He sits at a desk, and I was attempted to be transferred into the jail because we spoke our mind about the problems within the agency. And you can't do that. You can't do that. Well, and I don't think anybody not a cop understands you can, but be prepared to be on a podcast or in a different job or on midnights the rest of your career or blackballed or, hey, give them the oldest car in the fleet. Give them this, give them that. Make your life miserable.
Maybe it's just, she kind of opened my eyes to it. Maybe that's kind of like what you just need to tell people. You work for the government. At no point has the government ever allowed you to do that. The government's been around for 280 years.
Yeah.
No one. There's never been a time and period where all of a sudden the government said, "Hey, you can't do what we like." It's always been that way. So if you're going to work for the government, it's going to be like that. But I will say that nothing will make you see the inefficiency of government work more than starting your own business. Once you actually dive into the free capital world, efficiency matters because money is to be made.
Yeah.
Yes.
When it's status and government and your career is based off status and not making money, the wrong people are in the positions that make the decisions that run the company.
Government work is not even based on, it's based on boxes that you check. It's the bare minimum checked box. If government treated employees the way private sector treats their employees, we'd have a zero retention problem.
Yeah.
But we're treated like replaceable. Why? Well, because private sector bases value on performance and how much are you benefiting or making the company. Are you an asset to the company? Mm-hmm. What we just said is you can be a rock star or a deadbeat and you mean the same to the agency. So there is no way to, there is no by definition performance. It doesn't exist. Everyone's on the same playing field.
You have so let's just treat it like a company. You have a government agency and you have like a local, like a sheriff's office, police department, doesn't matter, government agency, and then you have a private business. Let's say the number one guy and his three underneath him, each one. The business side is how do we stay afloat or how do we expand and grow and make money? This one is whatever the mission statement is for the police department.
Which is
at the
fake.
time,
That's fake.
Right? Well, he's got three dudes under him that are like, we all need to do this. These three dudes are saying we need to actually evolve with times, right? We're all on average 60 years old. We need to start listening to the people that are 25 and 30 in this company. And that's why it was brought to my attention. They actually have meetings. They have a name for them where they bring in young employees and they hear them out because they realize I'm now not in it anymore. I'm old as fuck. Where police agencies just, I'm still in charge. So this is how it's going to be.
Exactly. It's like, but they value the thing that's actually keeping the company thriving are the workhorses, not the CEO. It's not you, but it's the reverse for government. The peasants, even though they say the backbone is road patrol, they'll say that, but they say a lot of good, feel-good things, but then they don't live it or execute it. It's the reverse where, whatever, we have to have road patrol and we have to have these little peasant people, but we're really the people that's making this thing thrive forward. And it's not. If you have to value your people. You have to value them. If just like in a relationship, if you're not valued, if you don't feel valued, what are you going to do?
Leave.
Right. This is not even like rocket science. And the fact that the government hasn't figured it out yet tells me they're intentionally doing it because it's not hard.
And the same with the private sector and the same with government. It's the same on both fronts. It is cheaper to retain than it is to hire new.
Yes.
On the government side and this. Private industry understands that.
Yep.
That's why when somebody goes, hey, if you have a great relationship with an employee and they're like, I've worked here for the X amount of time, I'm only making this opportunity opened up.
Fight to keep
you
it.
have to go, okay, all right, I value you so much. It is cheaper to give you this for let's look at foreseeable 5 years to give you this raise than it is to bring in someone new that's going to ask for that anyways.
Yep.
Right?
Or you've established yourself as such an asset that they're willing to, because assets matter. Assets don't matter in government work. Everyone is the same. You're just a uniform with a beating heart in it. There is no level of like top performer. That's what I just said. It doesn't matter who you are. You all get paid the same. We don't get paid based on performance. So what's the incentive to perform?
There isn't.
Well, they
no
try,
incentive.
and I don't really hate on them. A lot of agencies, if you're going to leave, they can't change the culture overnight. They can't, and they really can't go, well, we'll give you the specialty assignment. That's wrong. To give you something because you're going to leave that somebody else might have earned better than you.
Sure.
But there's things like, you want a new car? I've seen it happen. I've seen people not come to the agency I'm at who were about to leave the agency I left, and they were offered a free whip or a brand new whip, and they stayed because of that, and that's okay. Sure. Because those people are going to be able to be bribed like that for the rest of their career.
But it's an asset. If you're a nobody, and not a nobody, but you haven't been performing and you don't really contribute much, and you sit under the tree, and maybe you have a toxic mentality, and maybe you bring the whole shift down, whatever it is, and you go, I'm going to leave. You're like, we've been waiting for you to say that. Right. So it just depends on who it is, but you have to identify who your performers are, who your future leaders are.
Well, do you think that
the wrong people are
people that you're saying that are what do you call that?
Cynicist?
Not a cynicist, but a cynical, like a cynical person that's negative that brings a shift down, or are they the people that are trying to warn everybody the reason why the culture's like this?
Yeah, it depends. For 1,000%, it depends on what content is coming out of their mouth.
Everybody that's like
there's
an idiot.
No. But then there's the gossiper who just gossips and doesn't bring anything to the table. So it depends on what are they doing. You have to look at it case by case.
Here's my take. The government. So you have the company, and you have the government. The company has to thrive to stay in business and make money. Those leaders have to lead. They have to have good employees, and they have to be happy and keep them happy to live. The government gets a budget from the county every year. Those fucking positions, from the sheriff or the chief down, are going to be there no matter what. They're paid for ahead of time. They're budgeted for. There is, and this is like opening my mind to it right now. Like I'm having this thought as this conversation is happening. There is not even an incentive for a captain or a lieutenant or a deputy to even give a fuck about change. Because you know why? 20 fucking idiots are going to go get sworn at the academy next week. They're going to get hired, and they're going to want a fucking job, and they're going to come here, and you're going to do what we tell you to do. And guess what? We could have the worst numbers, 27 lawsuits, 30 people quit. Next year, $97 million is coming from the county to budget this fucking place.
Not more.
And it's going to work, and we're going to ask for more. That company does that, guess what? They're all fucking homeless. They're all jobless, and there's no product being put out, and they have no money. So there's really no incentive unless you have a good person.
But agencies will have the audacity to use something like the word customer service.
Garbage.
As if they're likening themselves to a private sector job. Like correct. It's a dog and pony show. Yep. There's no customer service here. You don't depend on repeat customers to stay afloat.
And that's where I look at an agency that has a leader or a command staff that goes, you know what? Fuck what these people think. And I mean the public. We're not going to beat them up. We're going to fucking put people in jail. We're going to hold accountable for you being a criminal. We're going to blast you all over the news when you do it, because guess what? Everybody can hate us. That 100 million is coming next year. 120 is coming the year after. 150 is coming here. So what is that's why I look at these guys.
Being taken off because chief
city does. Sheriff doesn't.
Sheriff's got to worry about being not reelected.
In a good Republican county like where I'm, and you guys are a little different over here, but where I live, that mentality would be very much accepted. We're
for sure.
We're like 79% Republican.
And again, being like Heather's opened my mind to a lot of things where I feel like she's arguing with me, but she's just telling me. We look at, if I'm like, oh yeah, see our chiefs and sheriffs, they have to say all this stuff because all the dog and pony show shit that you're like, God, you're listening to, and this is so stupid. Like they kneel to society. Mm-hmm. All the big corporations do as well. They all do it. Every business is no business is gonna thrive when they go, Fuck all y'all.
But that,
because they're
I
good.
have real
makes
respect
more
for that.
sense
Yeah, I have more
because
respect for that.
their money is based on their customers.
Yeah,
Guess
no,
what?
It's
That
not,
makes more sense.
If Orange
it
County
makes more
says we're not doing
sense,
Pride
but
Month,
the point of
what are you gonna
that
do?
was just to say that you get that elsewhere too. It's
Yeah.
not the only place you're
No.
going to
Sure.
get that as being a cop.
Sure, but
Where
that's more
all he
acceptable.
knew.
Yeah.
But if you
I've
don't
been
like
in a million different industries.
if we're not doing Pride
except
Month
for-
this month, we're not doing Pride Month.
By the way,
Orange County goes, we're not doing Pride Month. Guess what? The budget's coming next year. All $200 million.
The new sheriff's coming though.
That's fine. But
no, I'm saying that he would.
Yeah, he's gonna.
And
maybe.
he's not going to do that.
But
And
but
there
it,
goes.
But it doesn't matter.
There goes. However
Orange County,
painful,
California.
just like it's painful and uncomfortable for you to do what you're doing by leaving the job and doing this, it's painful and uncomfortable to do the right thing and not be a puppet. Mm-hmm. And that's all you're doing is being a puppet. So why don't you grab your big man balls that you love to tote around?
There's two.
And act like you give a fuck about doing the right thing and not pandering and coddling.
Well, there's two types of cops. There's the guys that come in that are the cop that are like in 5 years in, they're like, this is not what I thought it was. All right. Then there's the guy who's the company man. There's two types. Yep. The cop are guys that are free thinkers, and it takes 5 years for them to realize like this whole model is retarded.
Sham.
They're the types of guys that should go. They're the type of personalities that even wanted to do that job in the first place. They should go work for themselves. They should go start a business. The company man that relies on the government paycheck will literally. We've had people in our fucking comments say, collect a paycheck and shut up. It's, and it's horrifying because you don't want your cops doing that. But I realize, again, arguments with her, I've said it's fucking bullshit, dude. You can't tell me I have leave. I have 400 hours of leave. You can't tell me I can't have this day off because of manpower. It's fucking bullshit. It's my hours. That's my brain. And she's like, no job allows you to just take off when you want. And I was like, holy shit, she's right.
There are some aspects which I can't speak of from personal experience, but just from what he tells me, that there's a slight bit of more freedom than in some corporations.
Yeah.
And if you don't experience that other side like I have, then you wouldn't know that. You just think you're being controlled 24/7.
And I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told you can't do that. And that's a me thing, but
there has been times you're like, oh, like you were sick and you're like, I called in sick. And I'm like, there are literally jobs where you'd be like, I had a lawsuit because I couldn't make it to work. And they were like, you're the boss. You need to figure it out. And I was like, no, where's my DM? Where's my district manager? Like, what do you mean? And they were like, if you can't be there, you need to find someone to be there. And that was okay to do. And I was like, well, I have should I bring my kids with me? I don't know what you want me to do. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't just be like, well, I'm sick today, I'm not coming. And there's times you can do that.
We can get away with that. But there's also the flip side to that is, like I said before, you just go get another job. In the cop world, it's not that.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Like if I go, I'm taking this fucking vacation day, I don't care. I earned it. And then you're written up, you're disciplined, you could be fired. Whereas the other, and then you're done. You can never go. Whereas that happens for you and you go to another employer and go, look, I was a manager. My fucking kids were sick.
They
I
fired me
couldn't-
for a stupid reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
they're
they're
going to be like,
like,
oh,
okay.
you're good. You're good. Come on in.
Yeah, in the cop world.
You do that in the cop world, you're done.
If there is a sticker,
Right.
if there is a Post-it note on your packet, it goes wherever. It was left on, even like resigned while under investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Resigned. I'm back. Like if it comes out, as soon as they call and they go, hey, this Tyler guy, he used to work for you. Immediately, whatever is said on the other end of that line, there's legalities to it now. They legally can't say certain things.
But they do.
But they do. And they go, hey, don't hire him. You're done. You're toast forever.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to like downplay it, but I know the side that you don't. You've never, I mean, you've
and what it
worked
came
for the
down to
government since
is
you were 19 years old. So I'm saying that the same thing happens. I ran a plumbing company for 9 years. I'd get a phone call and I'd call the past employer and I'd be like, all I was legally allowed to say was, would you hire this person again? And sometimes they'd say shit they shouldn't have, like, oh no, this guy was a motherfucking piece of shit. But sometimes they'd be like, nope. And that's all I needed to hear. I was like, all right, at that point, I don't get to call that guy and be like, so what happened here? I was already over. I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
And it could have been something fucked up. It could have been that the guy, like what happened to me, he couldn't get there because his kids and this and that. But I'm not going to, like, he's also kind of blacklisted. Like all the people are going to see that and he's going to have a hard time finding a job.
Your mentality is where entrepreneurs are born, though. Like I talked to other people where they have that
no matter
moment of,
what
I'm not
your career
answering
is.
to anyone ever again. And then that is how their businesses are
Because
born,
in my
because they get
mindset-
to it like, I'm not answering to anybody. I'm done.
My every minute
Right, all
matters
around.
to me.
Yeah.
So my decisions, I don't like doing shit that's stupid and inefficient. If I worked for a company that was paying me a lot of money and it was innovative and I agreed with every single thing, I'd be happy. I agree with but you're never going to, because that's my mindset is
You
like
still wouldn't. You still right. You're never gonna find that, but you'd still be like, I don't know. We could do something better here, or I would do it differently.
I hit that crossroad. I had an opportunity at one point to go, I'm going to follow this administration down this path that I don't agree with, and I'll probably get promoted 2 more times and have my life set. Or I'm going to stand by what I believe in and what I think is right.
counterculture.
And I went the other way, and I was gone within 2 years. And I was written up twice. I was demoted. Like
I stood in front of the bus and it ran me over.
It was but I was willing to get run over at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not going down this road of this doesn't make sense, and I'm not doing it just because you guys say I'm one of the boys and I'm your friend. Like, none of it made sense to me, and I'm like, I'm not doing it.
The two differences between me and you, is that you have had a reason. You have a lot of negative history with your administration and what they did to you. The hardest part for me is they're great to me. Yeah. They're great. I disagree with stupid cultural policing that, like, axons hold. The fact that I have to do 18 different things a shift with the electronics on me, and if I don't, I get in trouble. Like, those things, it's stupid.
I think the other difference, and I'll give you credit, I bought in to the government being my friend, and you never did.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I did. I went a long portion of my career like, all these guys care about me. They love me. We're friends. We're brothers. We've gotten in use of force. And when I came out on the other end of that, I'm like, what a moron. Like, I
It's
was
literally
like,
an
what
abusive relationship,
I don't.
like we
you
said.
got the
You think the
government
person
crossed
cares
out
about
shirt.
you?
I think you're smart that the government. I believed at one point
And
that
I do
they really
too.
cared about me.
If you're a good person, you expect it to be reciprocated, and you just give people the benefit of the doubt. You're like, well, I'm a good person. Why wouldn't they be a good person? So if you go into government work and you're actually a good-hearted person and you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and right is right and wrong is wrong, and you think that that's going to be reciprocated, because why wouldn't they also be good people? And then when you find out that it's not like that, that's devastating.
Yeah,
That's
I was going to say, it's like
also, you
heartbreaking.
can't
It's
find
devastating.
people, now that we're able to do this even more now because you're done soon, you don't find people that are willing to say the truth. And what the government will step back and do is go ahead, ask all those cops over there if it's a bad job. They're all gonna be like, no, it's great.
Yeah.
We
No,
love it."
we're so happy. Everything's
But
great.
then you got enough people
Cold.
that get out, and like, that's why I've been so popular. I think with Copville is people are going, damn, dude, you're saying all this shit that we can't say, or now maybe we're gonna start saying it because we hear it from enough people. But that dude's crazy. Mike's crazy. We were great to him. Like, matter of fact, the head guy has tried to say that to people, that they were great to me. It's my fault. No, it's not my fault. But the problem is nobody else.
Gaslighting. We call that gaslighting.
Nobody else will speak up, and even the guy.
Government works literally being with a toxic partner.
Even the guy that got fucked over on light duty and like ran out of the building, even being gone, won't say what I'm saying. And I look at him and going, dude, why we got to make sure this doesn't happen to everybody else.
Even when you don't get railroaded. I remember when I was like, I got in trouble for not doing. I'm like, wait, so I'm fighting crime every shift. I'm giving it everything I have, but you're mad because I didn't do a check for the hour. Well, yeah, we got to show it. We got to show your work, and I'm like, but I'm working.
It's not a math
But that's
problem.
like what you said earlier, how you could be good 99% of the time and fuck up once, and they focus on that fuck up.
1,000.
That's how, like you said, you got the trespassing thing done all by yourself, did all this, and then you forgot to test your taser. Like, that's also that's not just government work. That's everywhere.
And
like,
that's where credit.
That's where you need to start your own business if that's not something you want to do. Some people, like you said, are comfortable and are like, I'm good with that. I'm good. I will go to work 9 to 5, clock in and clock out, make my 6 figures. I don't care if I'm answering to somebody. Like, some people are okay with that because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Some people are not.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure if I did it for a long time, but yeah, I guess there was times
and
that
it's
I would
okay
speak
if you
out
are.
if I didn't agree.
But
with
it's okay
something.
if-
yeah, it's okay if you are.
Because we're all different. We can't all be Navy SEALs. We can't all be
Right.
brain surgeons. We can't all be something that's like wherever we put like on the tier of whatever's important. But someone who I used to respect said this, like, it's building credit. And I believe in building credit. So if you have somebody who does the right thing 99% of the time.
Who is this? I've heard that too.
What?
Who said that?
I think you said it before.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
Who?
It's the person I respect is not like a name, like a known person.
You were the credit thing that I heard then. Okay.
Yeah, she said it before.
But you build credit.
Yeah.
Where if you do the right thing 99%, or you do a good job 99% of the time, and then you fuck up 1% of the time, I'm probably not going to react to that 1% the same way as if you're someone who fucks up 99% of the time and gets it right 1% of the time. So there's credit.
Who said that? It wasn't you.
I literally, it was me. It was me.
Yeah.
Because I use that. We have the same brain, and I use that for our children.
Yeah.
And
that is what it is. Yeah.
She doesn't respect you anymore.
What?
She said somebody I don't respect anymore.
Oh, no.
Or somebody else.
It was somebody else that also said that.
Right. But because it's a good rule of thumb, and again, a lot of workplaces don't use that. They should, but they don't. But with our children, we have some children that 99% of the time.
Go ahead.
99% of the time, they're doing their chore, whatever, just doing the right thing, and then they might make a mistake. They're not going to get the same
treatment
shit that the kid that's 99% of the time fucking up, forgetting, doing this, doing that, and then 1% of the time doing it right
shines. Yeah.
But what's interesting about that is that sometimes that kid that's fucking up all the time and then does the right thing once, good job. Why the fuck are they getting praise when the kid doing it right all the time and fucks
that was
up
the expectation
isn't getting thank you or good job?
Because all they did was just meet the expectation. Oh, you did what you were supposed to do.
So then there's no incentive, just like with
fuck you did what you're supposed to do.
So with the difference between government work and like corporations, you have asset and liability. Like you said, if you're an asset or a liability. But in government work, especially in police work, the liabilities are accepted because I just saw
Say it again. Hold on. Roll it back. Say it again.
The liabilities are accepted. I just saw Brennan post. Everybody's posting that SRO. That's huge.
What was his name? He's got a really cool name.
Doesn't matter.
So a lot of people, what do I see comment in the comments? Liability. He's a liability. But that's okay. Now, if you have a business and you have somebody that's a liability, which we've experienced, huge liability, and they will fuck your shit up, you're going to be like, see ya, get the fuck out of here. You're destroying the business that I built. Where the government's like Mike said, money's coming no matter what. So that liability is filling the place for this SRO that we needed.
There's
so what?
No incentive.
Who cares if the kids are safe or not? I mean,
check the box.
When I got promoted to sergeant, I went to road patrol and I went to street crimes. So I was assigned to the DB. I would come in the morning on time, 8 o'clock, because that's my hours. The lieutenant would be sleeping behind his desk, watching Netflix, knocked out. The other two sergeants back there, maybe 10:15, they'd come in. The day I got in trouble and demoted, I filled in as a sergeant, volunteered to work the road, and then saw a dude that I knew was a fucking crackhead and took off after him and got in a pursuit. I look at that like all those things could have easily been avoided. I could have been late to work, came in at 10:30, did my 2 hours, worked out in the gym, and went home like all the other sergeants. I could have just been asleep at my desk. Nobody would have cared. But because I couldn't do that,
you volunteered to work,
and then
they were short.
I was standing next to her, and I looked at the dude, and I go, that motherfucker's got no license. Like, I've arrested him before. And I fucking took off because I'm a fucking cop at the core, and I went, the right thing to do is go after that guy. And I end up now, we can argue all that other shit that happened for a million years. Point being is, I could have just been kicking it at the
bare minimum.
office.
Had you done the bare minimum?
I could have been working out 2 hours a day. I could have been at home. Nobody knew where I was. Nobody knew where I was. But I was in the office.
The other message that's often delivered is if you're not in an IA or if you don't find yourself in IAs, then you're not actually doing the work.
Yeah.
So we know we are like bipolar because we'll say, well, if you're not ever getting in trouble, you're probably not doing any cop work. And so then people go, I don't want to be in trouble.
Right.
I'm not going to do cop work.
Do the least I can.
Yeah, and I think to go back to
dude.
what you're saying about praising someone that's not doing a good job is that in the government, when you're a supervisor, you cannot, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, you cannot terminate that person. As their direct line of supervision does not have the authority to terminate this person. So you literally have to go, you're doing it. You're doing it. Good job, good job, good job. Yeah, keep doing that. And the other people are like, we do this shit all day. And it's like, shut the fuck up. They're doing it. And if you're a manager at a store or you're a
He's using the potty. So good.
Yeah.
If in the civilian world, you have the authority to go, you're fired. And then when they go, you fired him? Like, yeah, I fired him for this reason. Like, okay.
Or if you start to document or point out people's problems in law enforcement, you're considered a micromanager or a bully.
Yeah.
When you go, this dude is a 1 in a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to start telling him he's a 1, or I'm going to start you're mean. You're like, no, this dude, like, it'd be like the clerk at the store not even know how to count money.
Then we adopt
like,
the
it's
whole, all right, well, let's prove it with a paper trail. And then that gets abused. Because then now they're like, I don't like him. I'm just going to start documenting, or the way he looks at me the wrong way.
Sure.
You can narrate me walking through the door wrong. You can literally narrate it to a point where it looks bad.
Sure. That could be argued with another job. I mean, if you're an at-will employer, you still have to. You can't just walk around and being like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. You still have to be like, all right. And some people do start doing a paper trail. They're like, all right. And exactly, it may not be right. They're like, I'm going to write them up for this person's been late 5 times, but this person I want to get rid of. I'm going to write them up for every fucking time. But the other person hasn't gotten written up.
Because I like them.
But then you have the union. It's okay.
You
have the police union that will protect a shitty employee because he's a member of the union.
Right.
So it's a whole disaster.
You have a little bit of protection.
It's over and over, though.
It's almost as if like supervisors and leaders should be good people, and that should be like a criteria.
They wouldn't be in their position.
Not a nice person, not a liked person,
a decent human being,
a good person, who is committed to actually
don't have any of those.
Unbiased impartiality, and that being part of the oral board or the selection process. What has this person done to exhibit that they are a good person?
You know where I start to gauge it at? And my whole series of Out of Touch, and it sounds funny that I make fun of a mystery, but if you are in charge and you can't even maintain some level of standard uniform and appearance, how do you have any control over your people? If you walk around with your magazines in backwards or upside down, or and you're the one that's enforcing the laws and everybody else or the rules, how can I take you serious? If it's like Joe Biden. How can you take Joe Biden serious as a president?
Any form of leadership, if you're not willing to do what you're asking your people to do, literally, I mean, I was younger and I was a manager at a tanning salon. Okay. It's not heart surgery. It's not anything. We're not helping people, but if my staff, if I'm sitting there telling them to clean the toilets and do this, if you don't think I did that, which I did, I cleaned the toilets when I needed to. I did wash the towels. Like if I just sat there and sat back and told them to do all that, even though I worked myself to a higher position, they don't respect me. They don't give a fuck. And my girls I still talk to them because they looked at me as like somebody they respected.
You can break it down. If you're on a range and you just got done shooting, who's cleaning up the brass? Mm-hmm. We know who's not cleaning up the brass, right? That's a problem. No, you didn't shoot any guns, but your guys are out there get down, clean up brass. Yeah. Or who goes to training? Yeah. You're exempt from training because you got promoted. My
last 2 supervisors I've called out publicly for stuff like that. Like one time we went shooting as a squad. My sergeant, who's a giant piece of shit, and no one knows how he's a sergeant, but admin just keeps letting him slide. And he was shooting with us because we were shooting as an 8-man squad. And then he's also adjuncts at the range as a red shirt guy. And so he went and started talking with the range instructor. They teach 8 classes a day at the range. They're not going to clean up brass for you. They didn't shoot any guns.
Sure. Yeah. No,
but
we're not talking.
The supervisor went and hung out with them. And I walked up and I was like, hey, is that one of the perks of being a sergeant? And he goes, what? I go, that you don't have to clean up brass that you shot? And everyone was like,
and that's why he should run his own business,
right?
And not fucking work for somebody, because that's going to not go well.
The fact that's not accepted. That's what we should be doing routinely.
That tried to look good on paper because she wants to be a lieutenant, orchestrated this entire thing of us doing room clearing, had to coordinate with SWAT. I work the road with 2 SWAT guys. They were like, dude, we got to fucking teach y'all this dumbass class. They wanted to go work out. Me and one of the guys were supposed to go work out. Now we can't go work out because at the end of shift, she scheduled this stupid ass room clearing thing, right? We all had to get our rifles, do the whole fucking thing. And, when SWAT has this thing set up, a sim house kind of, and we go to start doing it. She takes a phone call and never comes back. Word. Want to know what else she did?
I was almost on her side.
She signed. She
I was like,
signed the training sheet that she did
was
the
there,
training.
that she did it.
And never came back.
Yeah.
I was like, I pulled everybody, and I was like, this is what she just did. So when you guys are thinking, why does Tyler not like this girl, and why does this girl have such a problem with Tyler? This is fucking why. And they were like, dude, holy shit.
And I was about it because I get it. It's a pain in the neck and it's a nuisance and it's an
Yeah.
inconvenience. If you want to do training, you know where I stand on training. Like, the more you train, you can do
Yeah.
it better. I was with it. I'm like, yeah, great. Like,
Oh,
who cares what the motivation is? People are benefiting from it.
Yeah.
And then you hit that. And it's 1,000%. And you can look around. The people that you see that aren't line level, doing line level things, those are your good people. Like, if you go, how do we gauge good people, Joanna? That's like, what do they have? The shopping cart thing, like people that take the cart back to the corral when no one's looking,
Right.
that kind of thing. But that's, you look around, and if you see someone who's a sergeant or a lieutenant or a captain or a deputy chief, the sheriff themselves, they are doing line level. Like, well, we're admin, we don't need to do that. I don't care what you need to do. It's what you should do because it's the right thing to do.
She failed the sheriff's qual one year. The old sheriff, he fucking missed his targets, and everybody would just be like, "Oh, good job, sheriff." She's like, "Hey, bro, you failed.
I shoot again.
You got to shoot again, buddy."
I'm not lying on the call sheet and saying that you passed.
Like, how many people would do that?
Because
Everybody
I
else
don't
would be
care
like,
if you're Jesus.
"Good job, sheriff."
I don't
Like,
care
hey,
if you're
good.
Jesus. The right is right, wrong is wrong. But I think if we could have, I talk about it with working the road. Like, if you go into a special unit and you've been in like a unit for 5-10 years and you don't take calls for service, that's a detriment, because tomorrow they could lateral you.
Yeah.
And now you've been off the road for 10 years and you have no idea
Switched two
what's a
softwares
crash
already, two CAD
report.
systems.
Right. But that's so but the same can be said for people that are in special units as the captain, not because you need to, but number one, it keeps you fresh on being a cop, because then you want to come to the critical incident, put your finger in it, completely like jack it up because you don't know how we operate because you're too busy sitting behind a desk. But every once in a while, you want to be involved in a traffic stop or a critical incident, but you have no idea what we do because you can't be bothered to do anything with us.
The double-edged sword, though, the one thing is that in the government, they can't just fire you for performance. You're always going to have a job. Where in the private world, you get fired,
Correct.
you're going
That's
home.
why I said liabilities are accepted.
I don't have a job anymore.
Yes.
Where we all know it takes a crime or a super egregious act to get fired. Some could say rightfully so, but whatever. It doesn't matter. When you're fired from your position, your pay doesn't go down. Specialty pay aside, if you're making an extra $100 a paycheck, fine. Other than that, your pay stays exactly the same, and you have a job. And we take it as like, our mind says, I just got fired. No, you just got sent back to the road. But in the private world, if you're fired, you're fired. Like, you get fired from Geico, Allstate ain't taking you. Right? You don't go sit down at a desk at Allstate. You're done.
Not applying. Right? You just show up, be like, I work here now.
Position, you're going to lose pay. You may lose benefits. There's lots of things.
That's ultimately the things we're saying to me don't seem like complex things.
The only difference, the
only
difference in that is
seem-
you can go, like, that happens. You get fired from Allstate in Orlando. You drive an hour to whatever the next town over is, and then if it's a different company, you're good. When, like we talked about in law enforcement, you get shit canned here in Florida for some bullshit. You try to go to fucking Alaska, and that bullshit follows you to Alaska. You can't get away. You can get a DUI, like I've said before, working somewhere for a regular business, and then be like, oh, that employer's not cool with that. Go somewhere else, and you're fine.
And you're not, and you don't work for the government? No one would fucking know.
No one cares.
Other than the little website now that everybody.
I have an argument for everything. I know it sucks, but again, running a plumbing company, they had to drive our trucks. So yes, I had to run their driving record. So yeah, a DUI mattered. I had to turn away.
No. I'm saying if you get a Dui that night, the next day you're not going into
You're not in the news. Well, you're not in the news.
Yeah, it might take a month for your employer to figure out you
got time
to find another job before they can fire you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm calling in sick because I'm at jail, and then unless you end up on one of those websites. Like,
well, no, but here's the other.
Somebody's gonna find out.
Here's the other caveat.
You guys.
Here's the other caveat.
I would find out if one of my guys got a fucking.
Here's the other caveat.
DUI.
It only matters if you're not in this circle.
Ew. Okay, one of the guys.
Like, if you're not in the circle of people who are liked, protected, you could get a DUI. You could do
Oh yeah, like you
Lots
said,
of
the one
things.
girl that's late 5 times, but you like this person, they're late.
So it gets brushed under the rug, or they do an excessive amount of things to either do, but if you're not liked, the second it's all over. You're gone. Because we've been waiting. We don't like you because you challenge us, because you speak up, because whatever, you're going against the grain.
They turned an arrest I didn't like into the first that they didn't like to the first. They charged me with code of ethics violation, like the code of ethics of the entire.
Well, that's because they want you gone.
Correct.
That's what she's
point.
saying.
That's
what they did. Like they took like what came in as an unbecoming whatever the fucking thing is, and then it turned into like use of force, use of deadly force, and then that was not true. To all right, they added the code of ethics violation after my interview. So like, maybe it makes sense, and maybe he's right. We're going to add this charge, and there's just no way to beat.
Code of ethics. If you
that
tie
one.
your shoes wrong,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
definitely violated something.
They
in
basically
code of
said in the
ethics.
paperwork that I was such a danger to the community and myself that I had violated the code of ethics because I took a guy to fucking jail.
Well, I know it's weird. Is that what we got to end it soon, but
Yeah, I gotta pee.
I don't know how I feel about it. No one's called me.
They're not
Nobody's
going
going
to.
to.
They're
They're
not
not
going
And
to.
I thought maybe on a personal level,
Nope.
somebody in my chain of command would have been like, "Are you sure are you good?"
Nope.
You know,
Nope.
Don't.
dude. No one's called me. No one's tried to
And
retain
until
me.
we joke about it, you're just a uniform, and they'll fill it the next day. And until you experience it, where you're like, they really don't.
But like you
I
said,
am just a
but-
uniform.
But
I'm
like
just
you
a
said,
uniform.
you're also somebody that goes against the grain a lot, and
Oh, they're
speaks out.
probably like,
like you
expedite,
said,
expedite.
like you said, they're when somebody they want to keep that person, they're going to offer them a new car.
But
they're
out of
gonna offer-
1,700 people, you'd think someone would be like, "Hey, man,"
Yeah.
and then you find out there's
or
no one.
or just like the corporation versus the agency world, the government world. A major or a deputy chief, a number 3 or number 2 in charge, isn't going, "Why is he leaving?" I'm just curious. Why are we not retaining him? It would have to go back down all the way and go, "Tyler, why are you leaving?"
Here-
He's leaving because of this. Because no one gives a shit.
Here's another plot twist for you. How many leadership classes have they gone to that tell them to give a shit?
How about this?
They all go to leadership classes and they brag about all their leadership classes that tell them to give a fuck about their people.
This is how
and
much
they don't.
This is how much they don't care or think about you. Yesterday, I saw a cop in a parking lot that I know well, out with looked like a crazy dude. So I'm pulling up to get my lunch. I get out, I see him, and I look at him, and I'm like, I give him like, I got
was
you.
a cop?
Yeah, he was in duty. He was dealing with a fucking mentally ill
Okay,
dude.
yeah.
I was like, I'm here. Like, gave him the nod. I'm right here. Something happens. Waited. As soon as the backup arrived, I was like, y'all take care. Went and got my lunch. That guy never called me. I was friends with this dude. I figured like after the call or later that day, he'd be like, "Hey
Mike,
man,
dude,
thanks for how you been," or "Thanks for fucking," because I got out and I gave him like the, "Hey, I got you.
I'm here with
this
you.
dude
I'm
acts
back up
up. I'm
until your
right
backup
behind him.
gets
This guy's got no idea I'm behind him. I'm just some dude in a tank top, like moron in a parking lot. So I'm like kind of sneakily behind this guy. If he jumps up and starts
Which is
fucking
an
with my buddy,
advantage, yeah.
I'm gonna knock this dude out senseless. But not. I figured like by like 2 or 3 hours after, I'm going to get a call or a text like, "Hey man, thanks for being there," or "How you been?"
I think we're all guilty of that though.
Yeah,
like, I
I'm
hate
not knocking it,
Yeah,
but
I
we are.
hate to like hate on people too much because I'm like,
Just an
I'm kinda
afterthought.
Like, we're just
But that's
we're so
my
absent-minded
point
sometimes.
is that the whole job is such an afterthought that
Yeah.
but nobody cares.
I think everyone's just surviving at this point, though. Nobody has any energy to put into anything extra other than surviving, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't believe that, like, no one called. But I should have.
They're not going to call.
Let me say it again.
Let me say it in the
you
mic.
think there's like camaraderie. There's not. And again, I can't stress this enough. It's the same thing in the corporate world. There's people that
Do you know when they're going to call? When we're on the TV like that.
There's exactly.
That's when they're going to
There's
call.
people that will spend 15, 20 years building a career at a corporation, let's say. The CEO doesn't know who the fuck you are. They don't even know who works there or doesn't work there, just so you know. And then something like that happens. They're like, "I'm going to leave." And nobody there is calling them either. They don't give a fuck. The CEO doesn't even, like I said, has
Maybe I'm
probably
just an idealist.
people in and out. I'm talking big companies. Like you said, there's 1,500 people that work there. They don't know who works there. They don't even know their name.
It's a cultural problem where even people I think that know it's a problem and that say
They're not calling. They're not calling.
No,
but I could say that, and then if I'm like in that same position, I might have, and I go, man, I didn't call. I'm that person.
Right.
That company doesn't have a bunch of shirts that say brotherhood, thin blue line, and we're all family. That
Sometimes
company,
they do. Sometimes
maybe.
they go to
we
team
have
building things.
We have a national movement though.
They
that
go to
we're
escape
all,
rooms and team build.
We're all brothers and sisters, and we're going
Right.
to die for each other.
Well,
We
you're supposed to
care
be, yeah.
about
Peer
each other
support.
so much. So that there's a national law enforcement memorial, and we all wear the same colored flag. We all got the same little catchy slogans, and not one of us gives a fuck about each other. It doesn't happen. So that's the difference, I think. Is
And
like,
sometimes I think like if I look at my chain of command, is it me? And I think it is me. Because I'm like, all right, my immediate chain of command, guy directly above me, awesome. Above him, piece of shit. Above her, an idiot. Above him, a coward. Above him, a yes man, company man. Above him, another yes man. And above him, a liberal. That's my chain of command. Like, is it me? Because I can bitch about that. I mean, some people go, dude, my chain of command's awesome. That's my direct line. If I have a problem, no one's going to give a shit.
It just depends. And even your own agency, someone else's chain of command, because there's different chains of commands, might not be that way. But just like even like Ennis works for an agency now where this dude's like, this is amazing, chase car. Like his chief is telling him, go chase cars, dude.
they just added the VNR.
They
They're choking people.
LVNR. They're allowed to
doing-
use lateral vascular
Yeah,
neck
they
restraints.
just
They're
added it.
allowed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rear naked chokes.
Yes. Yeah.
Guillotines.
So there's agencies. So it's not you, but
That
because
should
they're
be another episode. Let's talk about that. That's a good topic.
rear naked choke.
Like the whole choke and use of force thing.
Okay.
Because there's another agency that has
so
a big...
it's not you. It's not you in that because everybody, but because as you go up the chain, it's.
We are Counterculture 8. How's everybody doing tonight? Wild, huh? Wild.